Welcome back to the most brutal deaths in the Walking Dead universe. In part 1, we dove into some of the most shocking and gruesome deaths throughout The Walking Dead, and we couldn't fit them all into just one video. The Walking Dead universe is massive, and the brutality doesn't stop there.
Starting right now, we have to live in the real world. We have to control who lives here.
From Fear the Walking Dead to the newest season of Dead City, the pain never ends. We're about to revisit more gut-wrenching, nightmare-inducing deaths that proved no one is safe. If you haven't seen part 1, the link is in the description below. Now, let's jump right into part 2 of the most brutal and gnarly deaths throughout The Walking Dead. Kicking the list off, we have Nicholas's death from the original series, a potent and intense moment that highlights the psychological toll of surviving in The Walking Dead. Trapped with Glenn in a desperate bid to escape a horde of walkers, Nicholas finds himself cornered and overwhelmed by guilt and fear. In a moment of pure emotion and panic, Nicholas thanks Glenn before straight shooting himself in the head.
Look at me! Thank you.
This act is both a tragic acknowledgement of his own failures and a gesture of respect for Glenn, who had tried to keep him grounded throughout their journey together. Nicholas's decision to end his life is an intense reminder of the mental strain that survivors face in this world. Next, we visit Fear the Walking Dead and the death of the batshit crazy Troy Otto in Season 3 and I guess Season 8 as well. Troy was already teetering on the edge, but his wannabe mad scientist ass and twisted nature finally caught up with him. After getting Jake basically killed and leading a horde of walkers to the ranch, his sins finally caught up to him when Madison whacks him upside the head with a hammer twice.
All of it, Madison. And you would too, you know you would, because you understand and you see things.
Mance was literally unconscious when the dam exploded, so I'm not even sure how you survive or come back from that. But anyway, if that wasn't enough, Madison literally puts Troy out of his misery on the shakeback. What makes this death particularly brutal is the raw emotion behind it. The look in her eyes, the irony of using Alicia's arm, and the sound all add up to a truly justified and brutal moment. Shifting gears to Daryl Dixon, we encounter the heartbreaking fate of Sylvie, a kind-hearted nun whose death epitomizes the senseless violence of this world. During a chaotic confrontation, after spying and finding out Losang was bullshitting about the whereabouts of Laurent, Sylvie finds herself surrounded by guards. In the ensuing commotion, she falls over a balcony, suffering a fatal neck injury.
Calme down now, s'il te plaît. Parlons-nous. Mais tu comprends pas qu'il va y passer? Arrête de rigoler, lâche-la!
The suddenness and accidental nature of her death make it particularly jarring, as it happens in front of her allies. The intense contrast between Sylvie's peaceful nature and her violent end serve to highlight the relentless brutality of their reality. The death of Mika and Lizzie in Season 4 are disturbing on a completely different level. This shit was crazy and came out of nowhere. Lizzie's mental instability and her twisted view of walkers as quote-unquote just different led her to commit the unthinkable, killing her own sister Mika to prove her point.
No! We have to wait. I need to show you. You'll see. You'll finally get it. We have to wait.
Lizzie, put the gun down.
I just want us to wait.
Carol, realizing the danger Lizzie poses, makes the painful decision to execute her. The brutality here isn't in the gore, but in the psychological horror of it all. The innocence of children, the broken mind of Lizzie, and the impossible choice Carol has to make all combine to create a scene that's deeply unsettling and unforgettable. Carol telling Lizzie to look at the flowers before shooting her is one of the most chilling moments in the entire series, showcasing the depths of despair and difficult decisions survivors must face in this brutal and cutthroat world. Rachel's death in the Fear the Walking Dead is a heart-wrenching testament to a mother's ultimate sacrifice. While trying to repair a truck, she suffers from a devastating accident, leaving her leg crushed. Undeterred, she continues to push on, driven by the singular goal of saving her child. Realizing she's reached her limit and can no longer travel, Rachel makes an agonizing decision. She ties herself to her loyal dog, Rufus, secures her mouth to prevent her reanimated self from biting, and in a moment of gut-wrenching brutality, takes her own life with a wound to the stomach. Her hope is that Rufus will lead her reanimated corpse with baby Morgan strapped to her back to safety. The scene is made even more potent when Rufus does exactly that, delivering the undead Rachel and the still living baby to Morgan and Grace at the submarine. The desperation, selflessness, and tragedy of Rachel's actions, coupled with the image of her undead self safeguarding her child, makes this one of the most emotionally brutal deaths in the show. In the world beyond, the death of Dr. Belshaw is a prime example of how clinical brutality can be just as disturbing as outright gore. Dr. Belshaw, a scientist at the CRM research facility, meets her end in a chilling way. After conducting experiments on walkers and providing misinformation about their reanimated status, coupled with sharing classified details, shit was a wrap. Whether she was trying to be slick or finesse the situation, Jadis wasn't trying to hear none of that shit and traps Dr. Belshaw in the room with the reanimated walker. Belshaw, realizing the gravity of her situation, pounds desperately on the glass, begging for her life. This scene brought all sorts of claustrophobia when I saw this. What makes this death brutally chilling is its calculated nature. The sterile, clinical setting of the lab contrasts sharply with the brutal violence unfolding within it, serves as a stark reminder of the stakes in this world and the CRM's willingness to sacrifice even their own for what they perceive as the greater good. Bob's death in Season 5 is a slow burn of twisted terror and despair. After being kidnapped by Gareth and the Terminus survivors after the raid, Bob is revealed to have been bitten, but that's not the worst part. Gareth and his cannibalistic crew are chilling around an open fire, straight barbecuing this man's leg like a two-piece combo at Popeyes. The scene of Bob sitting around the fire, realizing he's being eaten alive, is truly horrifying. After realizing this, Bob becomes hysterical, laughing and screaming, "I'm tainted meat," sending shockwaves of panic to the group, and rightfully so.
I've been bitten, you stupid pricks! I'm tainted meat.
Bob is forced to confront his impending death while being literally consumed by his enemies. This moment not only showcases the depths of human struggle in the apocalypse, but also Bob's resilience in the face of unimaginable horror. Beta's death in Season 10 is a brutal end for one of the series' most formidable villains. After the death of Alpha, Beta goes full-blown crash-out mode and leads a massive horde towards the survivors. During the final confrontation, Daryl straight tomahawk dives 2 hunting knives into Beta's eyes. Straight savage mode. What makes this death brutal is the almost peaceful look on Beta's face as he's being devoured and torn apart by the walkers. It's a twisted end for a twisted-ass character, highlighting the complex psychology of the Whisperers and their unique relationship with the dead. Arno's death in Fear the Walking Dead is a gruesome example of the brutal world these characters inhabit. After pursuing a weapons cache and being captured by the Stalkers, Daniel Salazar becomes convinced that his daughter is still alive and questions Arno for answers. In a moment of rage and desperation, Daniel lowers Arno into a pit full of walkers. What makes this death particularly brutal is its slow, agonizing nature. Arno wasn't killed instantly. No. Instead, he was lowered into the pit where walkers began to chew on his legs. This drawn-out death serves as a vivid reminder of the cruelty that can emerge and the lengths to which even good guys will go when pushed to their limits. Finch's death in Fear the Walking Dead is one of the most heart-wrenching moments in the series. Finch, the son of Dwight and Sherry, was taken by Padre and raised without his parents. In a shocking and brutal scene, Shrike, the co-leader of Padre, forces a walkerhead to bite Finch as a means to coerce June into continuing her experiments on a cure for the walker virus. The scene is particularly brutal because Finch is an innocent child, and the act is carried out in a cold, calculated manner. Despite June's efforts to save him using radiation treatment, Finch eventually succumbs to the infection. His death is a major blow to his parents and a gnarly reminder of the harsh realities and moral complexities in the Walking Dead universe. Luther's death in Dead City is a brutal and personal confrontation gone wrong. While tensions are high and resources are scarce, Luther finds himself in a violent altercation with Negan. The fight is intense and brutal, showcasing the desperation and animosity between the two men. In a grim turn of events, shredding this man's face with a damn cheese grater, Negan gains the upper hand, ultimately killing Luther.
Okay.
What makes this death particularly brutal is not only the violence of the fight, but the personal nature of it. It's a clash of personalities and ideologies, culminating in a fatal blow that shows the volatile dynamics of the group and Negan's resolve.